The first pro with this 2023 Genesis GV70 electric is going to be with this interior space. I love the design language, the different material choices, the stitching, the piping, the quilted Napa leather seats. It all just hits way above its price category. This feels like a six-figure flagship interior space. Of course, this SUV is not cheap. It's around 75 grand the way you see it here as a fully loaded prestige model. But I'm just saying this interior is just like the $100,000 G90 that I tested, and that is not a bad thing. The solidity is there. When you open and close the door, it sounds great, it feels great. The panels on the door, they feel tightly put together. You're really going to be able to appreciate this. But there are two cons with this interior space, and that's going to be with the infotainment. Okay, it's a great infotainment system. I like the way it works. You can utilize it as a touchscreen or with this dial pad here, but it does not come with wireless Apple CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. I said the same thing in the G90 review. That complaint still continues here. Same thing with this silver metal-like finish that shrouds the dial pad slash gear selecting knob. This silver material is so reflective in harsh sunlight. I'm not even joking. It's distracting and obnoxious. I really don't like that, but I guess I can appreciate them for at least not going with a glossy black finish. But honestly, they could have just used this brushed metal finish instead. The same material they have here on the side of the dial pad and the gear selecting knob. Everything else is just sensational about sitting in this vehicle, and people are just going to be really impressed when they see this and get in here for the first time. The next massive pro is how incredibly fast this vehicle is. Okay, I tested the GV60 performance model and this GV70. They both utilize a 77.4 kilowatt battery pack, producing 429 horsepower and 516 pounds-feet of torque. But I kid you not, this hauls so quick, especially when you press that boost button. You get a 54 horsepower bump for 10 seconds. So now you're getting 483 horsepower out of this thing, but this thing hauls like it's got 600 horsepower on tap. And it's not just the speed at a standstill or when you're going at a slow speed. Even when you're out on the highway and you peg it, this thing still pulls hard. But really though, the best way to enjoy this GV60 is actually in its comfort mode when you drive it more mellow. I kid you not, it has like that flagship six-figure quality to it, even in its driving capabilities. You know, it feels very similar to that G90 I tested. So this is exhibiting those S-Class Mercedes, Lexus LS, G90 type vibes for way less money. It rides great. It's extremely quiet. We have here double pane glass in the front and the rear. And it's only really when you're doing highway speed 75 plus miles an hour when you notice some wind noise coming through, but 50 and under, this thing is so silent. One con, if you want me to throw it out there, when you're driving it like an absolute knucklehead, you know, at the limit driving, sure, the thing is going to start squealing its tires, etc. The GV60 was like that as well, but just don't drive it like that. There's no satisfaction in pushing it. You just feel like you're fighting the car at that point. But it's not to say that these are bad handling vehicles, because in your everyday driving, your everyday handling maneuvers like your left hand, right hand turns, you don't really feel any body roll with this. It feels planted and composed. The GV70 electric, it really will reward you for that relaxed driving nature. Your occupants will thank you, and your range will thank you as well, because when you're driving it crazy in sport mode, your range depletes like crazy. And I guess that's a con that many people mention. It's the range on these things. It's 236 miles, but really a lot of these first generation EV products have pretty abysmal range. I'm not really going to complain about that, because I feel like you're going to be a very wealthy person that's going to be buying this most likely, and this is going to serve as your second or third vehicle that you're primarily going to use around town. You're probably going to have a charging station at home as well as your workplace. So this is going to be your city car. I don't really care too much about the range, but it is something to mention. EV cars are still not quite for everyone yet, but at least the quality and the way these things drive and the way they feel is going up. Another pro is going to be with these seats. They're so fantastic, very comfortable. I love the ergo feature that they have here, where it kind of gives you like that massaging function, if you will, where it presses up against your back and your glutes to help stimulate you on longer trips and drives. Honestly, that feature works better than most traditional massaging functions that you find in expensive luxury cars. But these full Nappa leather seats, these are bespoke to the fully loaded Prestige model. And another thing that is bespoke to the Prestige is going to be these amazing Lexicon audio system. Pretty top tier audio system in terms of clarity, bass, all of that is fantastic. But you have to step up to the Prestige, which is a $7,000 increase approximately compared to the base GV70 electric. So you really have to determine for yourself if the additional features that you see here with the fully loaded model is going to be worth it to you. A subtle con is going to be with the rear seating space. It's not super cavernous back there, but it's not terrible. You know, obviously adults can fit back there, and the same excellent seating quality continues back there. But what I like is the amount of storage space that we have here with the trunk, and even a little bit of space in the front trunk. Not a whole lot, but you can put a few things in there if you so choose. But you know, you fold down the rear seats in here, you're going to be satisfied with the cargo capacity of this SUV. Same thing with the armrest, the glove box. I like all of these things. And finally, all the tech that Genesis shoves into their vehicles. It's certainly a pro. I mean, a lot of people are going to love this. All the important safety tech, that comes standard, and it all works great as well. You have the little features on the key fob where you can move the vehicle forward and back, similar to the BMW 7 Series, right? So if you're in a tight parking space, you can impress your friends by, you know, starting up the vehicle remotely and getting the vehicle out of the parking spot. That's pretty cool. The cameras work great in here. You have all kinds of cool electronic noises that you can have the vehicle make when you accelerate and all that good stuff. It's just chock full of tech. And, you know, there's a bit of a learning curve with that. You have to know where all of these features are hidden within the infotainment system. But once you get used to it, I think you're really going to like it. And I'm a fan of this car. If you had the money, I would say go for it. You will not be disappointed. I know that the Genesis G80 electric, that also exists, but what I've heard from other reviewers is the fact that the ergonomics of the seats in the G80, it's not that great because the floor, it just sits up too high, so now your knees are a little bit bent, and it's not the most comfortable position to be in the G80 sedan. So if you're contemplating between this GV70 and the G80 electric, I would rather go with the GV70. This has the exact same seating position and comfort as the gasoline-powered GV70, according to Genesis. So hopefully this quick buyer's guide video helped you out. Obviously, this is not for everyone. This is still expensive. It's even expensive to lease as well, around $1,000 a month. For the base model GV70, assuming you have perfect credit and you do a zero money down lease, that also includes the $7,500 EV tax credit. So again, not cheap at all. I wish Genesis would come out with some more affordable leasing programs. That would be really great to see. But if you're financing or paying cash, again, more power to you. Have fun with your new electric GV70. You will not be disappointed. So I'll have my next video on the end screen here. Click on it and I will see you there.